Hi, good morning. Oh, goodness. It's a beautiful one. So, can I ask you something? Have you ever noticed we all have stories? Huh. I was thinking about that this morning, and we tell ourselves these stories over and over, and after a while, we don't even realize we're still telling them. So, you know, I've always been this way, or things never work out for me, or whatever your story happens to be. I'm not always, I'm not saying that they're not true. I'm just wondering, are we still living from them? So let me kind of explain what a story is. The story of our life. Right now, I can tell you my story. Um, I am Vivian, and I have a couple of businesses. And I am married, and I love oysters. I'm just being facetious here, and I am creating my life. That's my story. I journal about my life, and I believe and know, and this is my reality is happening before my eyes and unfolding. That's my story. And the more in detail I get about my story, the more it starts to reflect it to me. Not only by uh, by other people, but by my circumstances or by my reactions. I don't overreact as much as I did years ago because that was my story. Or emotional, that was my story. Now I feel and know that I'm a much calmer person because I've worked on my story, and learned, how to ground myself, how to create peace, and how to stabilize my nervous system. That's my story. You know, um, because I've noticed, some of these things in my own life, and my stories have changed, not because I forced them, they just changed. Um, I don't know, maybe because I started paying attention to the different things. So, yeah, if I want to embody elegance, well, what do I do? And I started thinking, well, I like, putting lipstick on and my earrings and jewelry. That makes me feel more elegant. I'm just giving you some ideas. Maybe because I started noticing my life differently after that. I now get dressed, and wear perfume, and I go for facials. Those are things that are shifting in my story. Those are my realities. Um, I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. But it made me wonder if I keep, you know, so if I keep telling the same story every day, how does anything new ever, show up? How do I make room for that? I don't know. What do you think? Have you ever thought of that? Does that make any sense? Does that resonate with you? If you're living in a situation that you just make one tiny shift to, do you think that the more time you shift it out, you'll be able to recognize your story has changed? And what I mean by story is your life, you know? Um, yeah, I'm just putting this out there. I started noticing that about my life. I started noticing that the small shifts in my life will show me the direction that my life starts shifting towards. If you resonate with that, please like, share, and subscribe. I have, a lot of things that run through my mind that I would like to share out there. Sometimes it doesn't always resonate with everybody around me, but maybe out there somewhere it'll resonate with someone and make them or you or anybody change your story. So, yeah, like, share, and subscribe. This is Vivian with Universe Connection, and best day ever. Peace out.